You guys out there who are starting real estate investing, if you don't have a lot of active income, focus on that first. And you can do that by doing fix and flip first. I still do fix and flip today to generate that active income. So in a year, I would do 2 to 3 fix and flip. And then I would turn that money that I made from those and then go buy and then develop ADU. A lot of people think that they need to hire the best realtors out there to do real estate investing. The funny part is that a lot of realtors out there don't truly even understand how to real estate invest.
Or else they probably wouldn't be slinging houses all day.
That's correct. The goal for real estate investors is to grow their portfolio to create a passive income over time. A realtor, their goal and their job is transaction.
So for a young entrepreneur out there, like what's the step-by-step blueprint you'd give someone to go from 1 to 10 ADUs fast? Welcome to Built to Scale, the podcast where vision meets action. I'm your host, Quinn Schilz, founder of Master Roofing, and I'm here to pull back the curtain on building world-class teams, scaling companies, and turning bold ideas into unstoppable momentum. Let's get to work. Today's guest is an absolute powerhouse in real estate and content creation. Kevin Trinh, he's the founder of an ADU mastermind in San Diego. He's built over 100 ADUs and now manages a $20 million real estate portfolio. On top of that, he runs his own no bullshit real estate podcast, teaching investors how to avoid the biggest mistakes in the game. In this episode, we're going to go deep on how Kevin went from 0 to 100 plus ADUs step by step, the systems and team building moves that scaled him to 20 million, the biggest mistakes that can cost new investors everything, how he's using ChatGPT and AI to get an edge in real estate, and the blueprint for anyone who wants to go from their first deal to financial freedom. If you've ever wanted to know exactly how a young entrepreneur builds a scalable business from scratch, this episode is the one to take notes on. Kevin, welcome to Built to Scale. Let's dive into it.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me, dude.
Dude, I'm happy you're here. I know there were some scheduling issues to get you here, but we're finally making it happen, bro.
No, man, I'm excited, dude. I know stuff happens, dude. So I appreciate you for rescheduling things and getting me back in here.
Absolutely, it's great to have you on, man. So you built a $20 million ADU empire and run a podcast. Mm-hmm. What's the single move that started it all?
For me, in life, there's certain points that it's like inflection point for you, right? You need to make pivots and changes in your life to do better, to level up. I scaled my company. I had a construction company that we scaled up to, close to 10 million a year in revenue. So that gave me the momentum to do what I was able to do, was to slowly build my ADU portfolio empire. And the ADU game has only been around for the last, 10 years or so.
Okay.
Right? It started slowly in 2016, gained momentum, and right now we had a 15,000% growth since then, which is crazy, dude. It's a $20 billion industry, but that gave me the platform and the vehicle now to really go deep in with it. And so my focus slowly went from just buying single family properties and focusing on my construction work to clients to now only building for myself. Right. I had some issues with construction back then as far as like dealing with clients, dealing with my workers getting poached. And, long story short, that gave me the pivot point to focus on building out my empire.
I'm excited to dive all into that. I'm sure it's going to be, it's super interesting for me just because I'm in the construction industry as well. Yep. I think it's also going to be super valuable for our guests to hear all of that. If you lost everything tomorrow, how would you rebuild your business and your brand?
If I had to start all over tomorrow, I would definitely go out there and start meeting people like you. Mm-hmm. Connection, relationship. That's everything in this world, dude. Especially in business, right? If you've lost everything, you want to start all over and you have nowhere to turn, there's no other place is better than meeting new people and creating a new, fresh environment for you to grow out of, right? And rebuilding yourself and your name. So I had to actually done that a few times, right? Through all my failures and mistakes in life and business. Mm-hmm. And every single time it had taught me a lesson that, people come and go.
Yeah.
The good people who truly want to see you grow and do well, they're going to stick around to help you. And if you can meet those people in life and certain events, dude, those are the people you want to meet, man. So that's what I would do. Go out there, network, build relationship, meet those core people that you need so that if something happens in your life, you can start over.
What's the purpose of like meeting those people?
I would say more for the support you would need, right? Anybody who says that they can rebuild and do things on their own That's all BS, dude. You need support. It starts from your family, and then it goes on to meeting certain people in life that has certain things that you can truly leverage on, right? We're all learning from each other. We're all growing. No one's perfect. But if you don't have the right support and the relationship, you can't do nothing, dude. Right?
You need to have that support, that experience, and that somebody behind you to like let you know to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, that motivation.
Most people dream of real estate success. What's the no bullshit reality of getting there?
See, we're all screwed with all this social media stuff out there because everything you see on social media is all nice, beautiful. You see people driving nice supercars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had all of that. I lost all of it. Had to start all over. So the reality of it is that it's hard. It's not that easy. But the consistency and the grind and the resilience mindset you gotta have, that's how it's gonna take you there. So it's something that I will always tell some of my students and that I coach is that passive income is not built passively. It's passive when it's built.
Can you talk a little bit more what you mean by that?
So creating that passive cash flow income, it's not done easily. It's not done passively.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights,
Yeah.
and a lot of stress, anxiety, whatever you got to go through. But once it's built already, that's when you start reaping the benefits, right? But you have to go through that.
So you have to build that structure and scale it properly so that if you want to have passive income without having to show up every day to actually grind and make that money, you need to set up the systems and the processes. And the thing needs to be built first, and you have to go through that grind to build it.
That's correct.
To get quote unquote passive income.
That's correct. Nothing is as easy as people make it sound to be. You buy a property and then you can rent it out and then passively cash flow and 100, 200, 500, 1,000 a month. Doesn't work that way, bro.
And it's never passive either in the sense of like that it's not going to require any work. Like you can build a team to manage those things, right? Yep. But that's what you're talking about. By the team can quit, things can happen. Like you need to realize that passive doesn't mean it's just you're putting your money in it. And it's you're never gonna have to take action on it, right?
And here's the other thing: people don't realize, especially people who are new to real estate investing. They look at it and they think that it's a passive investment, but real estate investing is really a business on its own. You have to have that entrepreneur spirit, right? If you don't have that mindset, bro, you can't be successful and grow a portfolio of $1 million plus in properties, man.
I was just listening to a podcast this morning about a guy who sold this company in drug rehabilitation homes, right?
Okay.
144 beds or something like that.
Yeah.
Ended up exiting, I think, like around $100 million for the entire business in New Hampshire. And he was talking about like this hockey stick effect that like a lot of entrepreneurs, kind of like you were saying, they have this belief now with social media and everything, with 23-year-old next to a Lamborghini, that it's going to be easy, right?
Yep.
And what people don't realize is that a lot of those people who are either there's a lot of fake people out there, right? And then is real people out there, but it took 10 years of grinding before they actually had that explosive success. Like had to keep reinvesting into their business. Like maybe they made $10 million in their business, but every one of those dollars had a home, and every time it went in, it went right back out into the business.
Yep.
And it's like people think that it's like they see this success and it's like it's going to be easy, and like I can do it too. You can do it too, but you need to realize that it's going to take hard work over a long period of time in order to get there, and you have to have that mindset of like, and he talked about like a hockey stick effect where it was like you it's like you can have that, like it's a lot of like this, and then eventually like you're gonna see the rewards from it. Like, why did you start your podcast, and how has that actually helped your business?
Honestly, the podcast is still very new to me. And the reason why I'm on podcast tour and I do podcasts is because I feel like it's a way to open up the door to share my experience to other investors that's new to the game, right? So that they don't make the same failure mistakes that I made, right? Eventually, the goal here is that you will get to a certain point where I think that giving back is also the balance of life. So you try to do stuff for yourself, you try to grow things, but at the same time, if you don't give back, I believe in karma, right? If you give back, you will get good rewards. That's how it works, dude.
100%. What's one thing about real estate investing that nobody talks about, but everyone should know?
Repeat that question again.
What's one thing about real estate investing that nobody talks about, but something everyone should know?
I believe that if you are a real estate investor and you don't find success right away, or you don't see anything moving for you, that's because a lot of people are not talking about understanding the buy box.
Talk to me about that.
So as a real estate investor, right, people are out there, they're so gung-ho about buying their first deal, doing a fix and flip, and try and make money off of these deals. But they don't truly understand the real estate game, which is you need to truly understand your buy box, right? People don't have it dialed in. A buy box gives you the criteria so that you know how to find the right property, the good deal, so you can make money on, right? People don't understand truly how to dial in the buy box.
So what's your buy box?
My buy box for the ADU specifically, so ADU, I say that because my buy box is specifically built out to buy ADU properties. So I can buy them and I can build out ADUs, right? So first off, the asset class is, all right, I'm buying a single property, okay? Price point, 600 to 900,000. Always have to have a 2-car garage, at least a 6,000 square foot lot, right? Flat lot, no hillside, okay? Between B to C minus location. From there, then I know that's where I'm going to be buying, and I just go out and look for them.
So you just basically set the filters. Buy box is the filters.
It's the filters.
And so you set your filters, and you're not, like this, you're disciplined in saying like that deal might, like the shiny objects, and you're like, I'm not going to touch that because it's not within my criteria. Yep. So I'm going to stick to my criteria because I know this is what works, and I'm going to keep doing that.
That's right, brother. And a lot of real estate investors, they don't focus on that.
Yeah.
Right? They're all over the place, dude. So understanding that will save you a lot of time and headache, and time is always against you.
Totally.
Yep.
Before you started your podcast and $20 million portfolio, what was your life like?
Stressful. I would say that, my lifestyle, even when I had a construction company with 70 employees, right?
Wow.
The grind is always there.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, 6 a.m. Sometimes I don't get home until 8 or 9 p.m. And, even though I have great employees, but you're always thinking and planning for the next phase of projects, troubleshooting, dealing with HR, right? And construction, you already know some of these guys, you got to babysit them, right, to get the project done. And so it's nonstop worrying, nonstop anxiety, nonstop thinking. And so once I had, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise, once I had the problem with my work just being poached and then it affected my business, and then I had to start differently and think differently and reapproach things, I think that gave me a peace of mind when I just focused on doing my own builds, my own projects, right? And then now my lifestyle is a lot less stressful, especially I just got a newborn at that time too. And my son now is 3 years old, but I have the ability to spend more time with him when I want to.
When you say people are poaching your workers, like, can you walk us through that? Like, what do you mean? Like, you built a team, 70 employees. That's impressive in the industry, because a lot of construction companies is the guy himself going up and doing the work, and he maybe has 2 or 3 guys helping him. So 70 guys is like you took an industry that isn't really developed, and you took like a business aspect and said, I'm going to create systems and processes to build out like a large company at scale, right?
At scale.
So 70 employees, right? Talk to me about that. So a lot of things going into managing those guys and making sure things get done and managing everything. But what happened with the poaching?
So let me backtrack a little bit so the people, your listeners, understand. Like, I, as a contractor, I learned as a journeyman through the trades myself. I did the work growing up. It's 20 years in the industry, right? I can frame, I can do electrical, I can do plumbing, I can do finish work, all of that shit.
So you know what it takes.
I know what it takes. That gives me the ability now to go out there and find the right guys. Of course, it's a hit and miss, right? You have to test the guy out to see if he can actually perform the work in the time frame you want and for the price point you want, right? Took me about 6 years to get it to that point. And it's a lot of trial and error, right? To get that team to be where I need it to be. We need X amount of framers. Oh, maybe we have too many framers. We need at least 2 guys who knows how to do plumbing, so that you know how to rotate the work. So it's a lot of trial and error through that whole process of 6 years, building it to a 70 employee standpoint. To answer your question, I think that for me, scaling to that point was hard. Maintaining it is harder. And that's where the poaching happens. Because a lot of times when you're not focusing on certain things, other companies see my growth. They see my guys are great workers. They see that they can get the job done for less, for cheaper. They start getting my guys to go do certain work under contract.
So while they were still working for
While
you,
they were still working for me.
you're paying their hours for the day and they go work for somebody else?
Yeah.
So it's like they're stealing from you because you're paying them for their work, but they're
That's
not even
correct.
working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant like recruiting, like
No,
other
no.
companies trying to like recruit and like, hey, you can work for us better, but they were like literally like,
Yeah.
he's paying your day, like come work with us, we'll give you some
That's
extra
correct.
cash and get this done.
Yep. And during that hour that my workers were supposed to be working for me, they were actually focused on other works for the other person.
So obviously your job started to get behind.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you manage like 70 guys effectively?
Oh, I had 3 project manager and then 5 supervisors on the field, right? The supervisors were the guys that were doing it. The project manager, because there's only 3 of them, they only run between job sites.
So how do you structure? Like the project managers would oversee supervisors would oversee like the main laborers.
Yep.
So the project managers, too much going on there. They're not focused, I guess, or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to deal with city inspectors. They have to deal with reading the plans. They need to deal with material takeoffs.
So they're trusting that
The
their
supervisors
are doing their
supposed to
job.
do their job. Yeah.
And the supervisors were making like side deals.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. But that's part of this industry.
Business, right?
Business. People get greedy and they start seeing that, they think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Yep.
And they start thinking that they can do it themselves.
What did you learn from that? That like if you were to have 70 employees again, I don't know what you're doing.
I would
now.
never have 70 employees again. First off, I think the biggest learning thing for me through that whole journey was I had to understand that even though you have system in place, you have everything that you thought were ideal and perfect, some shit will always come up, and you always have to be on top of the game. You take your foot off just for a little bit, you lose focus just for a little bit. That's when those shit will creep in. Yeah.
The if you could go back to having like all those employees and you were in that situation again, how would you manage it better so that wouldn't happen?
I would think that I would just focus more on and being more hands-on, because at that time, my biggest problem was that I had a newborn son. My family was going through some tragedy where my someone passed away, so I had a lot of time off of this business, focusing more on
The personal side.
Yeah, I was focusing more on the growth side and the scalability, and letting the personnel side, kind of not focusing too much on that. I think you have to understand you need to always be there for both, especially in a construction company. Yeah.
How did you fund your first ADU project?
Self-fund, and then using leverage from banks and lenders, hard money lenders.
What was harder, building your first ADU or building your first audience?
Building my first audience. I think that this whole new thing about social media and content and all this stuff, podcast, is still new to me. But I feel like it's coming along where it's becoming more natural.
Mm-hmm.
But business was my thing, right? All this social media, being on camera, I had to learn it all over, dude. And believe it or not, my first couple contents we were shooting, I was stiff as hell, dude. I didn't feel comfortable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So building my first audience was a lot harder.
It's like a skill, you get better at it over time. Like Rich says, it's like putting in the reps, right?
Yep.
So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize this could be a scalable business, not just a side hustle?
What, the content and the creation of the audience of the ADU Mastermind?
Yeah.
I think that for me, I start realizing that the whole social media stuff and, seeing so many people now doing it, I just feel like if I don't do it, then I'm out of place. I'm out of touch with reality. Right? The reality is everyone is moving towards that. And I'm 38 going to 40. So my generation is a little bit different than the 20s and the 30s kids, right? And so what I see now is that, believe it or not, a lot of people older think that they have to get in this game now to stay relevant. And the truth is they do. If they don't, no one's going to know who the hell you are.
How long did it take before your ADU started producing real cash flow?
Still coming up.
You guys out there who are starting real estate investing, if you don't have a lot of active income, focus on that first. And you can do that by doing fix and flip first. I still do fix and flip today to generate that active income. So in a year, I would do 2 to 3 fix and flip. And then I would turn that money that I made from those and then go buy and then develop it.
SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with zero down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford.
My properties?
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
They were cash flowing?
Yeah, because the way these ADUs are structured is that you buy a single property and you're able to value add immediately by adding on 2-3 units on there, right? So first off, you're already spiking the equity on these deals, right? Making money immediately on them.
What do you mean? Can you explain it to me?
So for example, if you buy a property for $900,000, or I'll give you an example. If you buy a property, the one I just bought, we bought it for $850,000, and we're putting 6 units on there.
How many?
6 units, 6 ADUs.
Okay.
The 6th unit is going to spike the property value immediately because each of those units are worth about $300,000-$400,000 each.
Okay.
So even though the build is going to cost me $1 million to build, I'm already up $1 million on equity on the property.
So you buy okay because the value of
value of all that 6 added units.
And then how much does it cost to build one ADU? Like average? I know it depends on the finishes and stuff.
On the industry right now, I think it's roughly average about $300,000 to $400,000 per unit.
That's like what a contractor charges, but what's like the cost?
The cost honestly is
like
about
80?
180.
180 or 80?
180.
Okay.
This is to build out about 800 to 1,000 square foot.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to like early on in business, like when you had to make your first hire, when did you know it was time to make that first hire?
At the moment I had to take on 5 projects at a time. Yeah. By myself and a helper or something like that, I can do 2 to 3 projects at the same time. But once you hit 4 to 5, you got to start hiring out.
So how did you decide who to hire first in a small and growing business?
I would say that you got to find just people who slowly work with you as an assistant. And then
is that who you hired first? You hired an assistant first?
Yeah, I hired an assistant just to help me do the work.
Yeah.
And then slowly from that, you give him more responsibility.
Yeah.
And hire another person like him to go learn from him, work with him, right? So I would hire 2 more assistants, one for him, one for me, and we would split. So I would do 3, he would do 2, and then slowly grow from that.
What's your strategy for firing quickly but fairly?
That's a tough one, dude. I always treat my employee like family, dude. And the moment where when we learned about the poaching issue, I had to just call a quick meeting and said, put it on the table, transparency. This is what's happened. I know it's happening and it's not right, but you guys have to go. And as long as you follow the rules and the regulation, the laws, you don't break them, then you won't get in trouble with firing people. But it's easier to get it done quickly and transparent that way. No, like, oh, don't try do this again. Don't save things, dude. If you need to fire them, let them go to find someone better, dude. Yeah.
One of my mentors always says, hiring is guessing, firing is knowing.
I like that. Yeah.
What systems or tools allowed you to scale from 1 to 100 plus ADUs?
Still coming up.
A lot of people think that they need to hire the best realtors out there to do real estate investing. The funny part is that a lot of realtors out there don't truly even understand how to real estate invest.
Or else they probably wouldn't be slinging houses all day.
That's correct. The goal for real estate investors is to grow their portfolio to create a passive income over time. A realtor, their goal and their job is transaction.
So for a young entrepreneur out there, like what's the step-by-step blueprint you'd give someone to go from 1 to 10 ADUs fast?
System? Like, how do I grow from
like building... What systems or tools like helps you get there?
Honestly, I don't use a lot of tools at that time. I was growing my business and scaling because we were doing such great projects. We were doing great builds, getting them done on time. And so it was all guerrilla marketing for me, bro. One person says, hey, Kevin does a good job. Another person says, hey, Kevin does a good job. Now I got 2-3 referrals right there. Just simple guerrilla marketing. Right? No heavy marketing, no social media, none of that stuff.
So for a young entrepreneur out there, like what's a step-by-step blueprint you'd give someone to go from 1 to 10 ADUs fast?
I would say that, first off, start with 1. Go through the process.
What's like step by step how to get to the 1?
Well, first off, you need to go out and learn how to create a buy box, right? If you're
Get a good realtor?
Yeah, no, you don't need realtor.
Okay.
If you're brand new to real estate investing and you want to do from 1 ADU to 10 ADU,
okay,
the first thing is you got to understand how to get your buy box dialed in.
And are you looking to buy like a single family house, or are you looking to buy land? Like, what are you looking to buy?
You're looking to buy a single family property.
Right? That has room for the ADU.
Has room for the ADU.
Okay.
The property, like my buy box, it needs to have a 2-car garage and a 6,000 square foot lot.
Because that's what allows based on the building codes?
You can turn the garage into a JADU. That's 1 unit. You build the back.
Wait, why is it called JADU? That's just
junior
the term?
ADU.
Oh, junior.
Yeah,
okay.
It's attached to the house.
Okay, cool.
And then the main ADU can be attached or detached, right? If it's detached on a big lot, it just gives you more value later on, right? So once you do that, then once you have the junior ADU and the ADU built on a single lot, that's the first deal right there that you got. That's 2 to 3 units right there.
And then if you want to get to 10, you just duplicate that with 3 other properties, and then you're there, right?
That's correct.
With the money side, let's say somebody doesn't have all the money, you can buy your first house with FHA loan, right?
You can, but here's the thing.
In California, it's I think tough also. With
it's all this. There's so many programs out there for first time buyers to assist you in buying.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the problem with that though. A lot of these like influencers online and social media are telling people to go out there and buy their first property that way. It's great if it's your first home, but if it's an investment property, I don't recommend that because you don't really have money to play with. Real estate investing does take money. And my students, if they don't have money, I try to get them to create more active income. So you guys out there who are starting real estate investing, if you don't have a lot of active income, focus on that first. And you can do that by doing fix and flip first, right? I still do fix and flip today to generate that active income. So in a year, I would do 2 to 3 fix and flip. And then I would turn that money that I made from those and then go buy and then develop ADUs.
But if somebody doesn't have the money, how are they even going to buy a fix and flip?
You can leverage the hard money lenders.
Yeah.
Private lenders. So you can go out there.
Because they're not looking at your own income and credit.
No,
they're looking at what that property is worth.
They're a lot easier, bro, than banks, right? So you can leverage all that, get into 90% LTV or whatever, and then get into a deal with less money down, make money by flipping it out. Once you grow that money, the active income, that's when you truly go out there and do real estate investing.
And you said you don't really need a realtor. So what's the strategy there?
So here's the thing. A lot of people think that they need to hire the best realtors out there to do real estate investing. The funny part is that a lot of realtors out there don't truly even understand how to real estate invest. That's the funny part.
Or else they probably wouldn't be slinging houses all day.
That's correct. See? The goal for real estate investors is to grow their portfolio to create a passive income over time. A realtor, their goal and their job is transaction, right? One deal after another, right? Their goal is to find you the house you want. So if you don't have your buy box style in, having a great realtor does nothing for you.
So you could just go on Redfin or Zillow and just set up your filters just like the realtor would do on the CRM and
then find your deals that way.
And then you find the deals, and then you go just direct to the listing agent and say, hey, give me a good deal. You can double into it, and then this and that.
Save money on fees.
Right. So what's the most expensive mistake you've made in real estate?
I would say that the biggest mistake that I made in real estate investing is thinking that this ADU play is all residential, but truly it's more commercial. And what I mean by that is that in real estate investing, when you do one residential, 1 unit, 2 units, up to 5, that's residential. Anything more than 5, that's considered commercial. And so when I was starting out and I would go to get lending for these things, it was a problem because I was getting lending so easily for 1 to 5 residential. Over 5 is commercial. Commercial lending is different than residential. It's a lot harder. So I would actually lose money on EMDs and stuff like that because I can't close on them.
So so is the money in 5 or more units, or is the money in less than 5 units? Like what you said, like commercials may be the way to go, or residential?
No, the difference is that if you're starting out doing 1 to 5 units, you're still going to make money.
Right.
What I'm trying to get at is that when you're trying to get a loan for lending,
right, it's going to be much more complicated if
more
you're doing more than 5 units.
That's correct.
So now that you say like all these units, my mind just goes to apartment buildings. Like, is part of like your direction maybe to start getting into like developing larger buildings, or ADU is the focus?
ADU is my focus, and here's the reason why. I'm a contractor, I'm a builder, and you probably know this by seeing it in the field as well. Building an ADU, a single unit or 2 in the back, is much easier than building a whole apartment complex. The time frame, the timeline, the money, everything is a lot less exposure, less risk, a lot quicker to get it done. At the same time, you're able to still build equity and create cash flow. And if you do the math correctly, bro, buying more properties and building ADUs in the back yields more return than building one apartment complex. Numbers don't lie.
What's one failure that ended up becoming one of your biggest growth lessons?
I think for me, when I was on the downturn on my business, losing workers and stuff like that, the failure I had at that time was also trusting people too easily. The people who I thought were my supporters weren't my supporters. They were just there because I was up. The moment you're down, they just brush you off to the side. So I reset everything, including my business and also my supporters and the people relationship that I had around me. Rebuild all that, and I think that's where it started getting better for me. That's where I am today because of that. So one of the biggest learning lessons for me is that when you get knocked down, dude, doesn't matter what it is, who it is, just take it, move on, and keep growing and learning.
What do you think like new investors get wrong 9 out of 10 times?
I would say that they get wrong by being too emotionally attached to deals, dude.
Yeah.
Real estate investors, especially the new ones, they're so emotional to certain deals. Like in business, you got to learn that, you can't take things personal, dude. And if you start attaching emotions to certain things, you're going to make stupid decisions. So the one thing I would also teach people is also don't be emotionally attached to shit, especially your deals.
So you have to just look at it as like a business deal.
Business deal. If a deal doesn't work out, you lose money, you lose $10K on that EMD, move on to the next deal. If you finish that fix and flip, you can't sell it for the price you want and it's sitting there for 3 months. Just sell it cheaper, get rid of it, move on to the next deal. Right? Time is always against you.
And if you had, let's say, $50K to start over right now, what would be the steps you would do to get back into the game? I know you said networking before.
Networking, relationship, getting into a great mastermind program or coaching.
So you wouldn't take that money and just put it into a deal. You'd make sure if you're starting over that.
Yeah. Getting to
get the education.
Yeah, getting education, getting into the right support group, right? It takes 10 grand to get into one. You still have 40 grand left. That 40 grand, you can still go get a fix and flip and do it that way and grow your active income. So now you start over with a great support team, right? A cast around you, a great coach mentor that's going to uplift you, get you all through the hurdles. 40K puts into money into creating a new, deal, create more of that active income, and then keep doing that.
Do you mentor people also? Is that part of your program with the ADUs?
I do. On the side, I do. Yeah. So one-on-one, I do a lot of that as well.
Good.
Yeah.
When you started, did you have a mentor, or did you learn it? Did you grind it out?
I grind it out, and that was probably one of my biggest mistakes that I learned. I didn't do too early on. Like I should have done.
Because what do you think is like if you had a mentor earlier on, do you think you would have gotten to where you are a lot faster?
Yes. I'm 38. I probably could have got it done when I was 32. Saved me 6 years. Right? All that pain and all that.
The mentorship, if it does anything, like there's no shortcuts in life, but it does give you the roadmap of like learn from somebody else's failures. And if you can listen to what they say and execute it and take the action, yeah, you can get there a lot faster.
You can get there
somebody
faster.
else already did it.
Yeah, you can get there faster. And then the other thing is it gives you confidence in going out there and doing it because you see that it's getting done by other people. You see what I'm saying? But I would not have changed anything because the person I am today, the character it built, is from all that mistakes and all the failures I had.
How has your podcast helped you build deals, land deals, investors, all that kind of
I
stuff?
think for me, it's actually helped me more on creating awareness on, hey, Kevin's out here looking for deals. So if you have a deal, a property that's fitting my buy box, send it over. So my deal flow has gotten a lot better. And as far as helping other people, I see that as a win for me. If I see someone I'm coaching or mentoring or whoever I'm helping is getting a deal done, building their first ADU and it's completed, successfully, then that's a win for me.
Do you see your podcast as a passion project, or do you see it more as like a marketing tool?
It depends. For me personally, I feel it more as a passion. For some people, I feel like it's a marketing tool, which is nothing wrong with it, right? Where if it's a business move, you have to do it, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it's per passion.
What's like the best podcast episode you've done, and why did it blow up?
I think the one with Rich is probably the biggest one that I've done. I've done a lot of smaller ones, and with Rich, because just his presence and how he commands the conversation and stuff like that, I think it creates more awareness to what I'm talking about to other people. I mean, hopefully this one's going to blow up as well, right? So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. How do you balance creating content with running a multi-million-dollar business?
So in the beginning, it was a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I started out trying to do it myself, which didn't work. And then I hired some guy online. That didn't work either. And then I had a guy in San Diego help me do all the content creation, and we had great momentum with that. So, that picked up really well. But then now I'm trying to transition into doing something more of, long-term form. So we might start doing more of YouTube postings where it's long-term videos, 30 minutes, an hour, and showcasing the process of buying ADU properties, developing it out, building it out, right? Since it's such a popular topic.
Totally.
So
if somebody wants to start a podcast and, to grow their business, what's your step-by-step advice?
I would say that if you're starting out your podcast, I mean, remember my first step is creating that relationship and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
That helps a lot because when you're starting
even with the podcast.
Yeah, because now
that's actually how we met.
Exactly, right? Starting out a podcast, you can set up a studio, you can do all the stuff, but if you don't have a relationship with people that's in the field and the industry, you don't have guests to come on. So you need to have that relationship. It's important.
Yeah, I've actually done a lot of different mentorships and courses and stuff and paid for this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I've always also been the guy to be like, telling my wife when we're going to the thing, like, we're not buying anything. They're going to try and sell us like 5 different things. Like, Rich has his like Tulum trip coming up. And I'm like, if I go there, he's going to try and close me on something. Like, this is what it is, right? Like there's all these, any of these things you go to, it's like, they're always trying to sell you the next thing.
Yep.
But there is something to be said about that. Like, I don't think I would be where I am right now at my age if I didn't get that advice and take those courses and pay that money. Like, I paid Cardone Ventures like $40,000, $50,000 to do a course that my wife and then at the time her mom even helped me pay for.
Yeah.
And it's like I learned so much about like creating systems and processes and what was a KPI and how to run operations and all these things because I invested in that course. And then talking about the podcast, like I got invited onto Brad Rice's podcast because Micah, the videographer, he's been helping me out for years, but he started working for Brady and then he made the connection. He said, come on the podcast. I came on, I did the podcast. I was super nervous, but then doing it, I realized it's great for the exposure. And then a few weeks later, he's like, hey, Micah told you might be interested in the group. He sent me he sent Rich's number. We did a call. Rich, I was like, okay, I'll let you know. And he's like, you got to make a decision right now, man. Are you going to do this or not? Like, got me, closed me, got my credit card over the phone. He wouldn't get off. He's like, we'll send you the contract tomorrow. He just wanted to close the deal. And I was like, this is going to be stupid. It's going to be a waste of money. Like, whatever. But what it did is it got me to like get the studio done because now I'm invested. Yep. And I think it's not about the course or the information because you can get that anywhere.
Sure.
You can get the information, like you can go on YouTube, like you can go on Google, go on ChatGPT. Information's, there's no issue getting the information. But when you spend the money and now you're invested, and
Yeah.
now you're like, okay, I spent the money, I want to get like a result out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's like the key to, like, you keep saying like go to these things, network, fund the people, but it's also now you've invested in yourself, and
Sure.
now you're like, you have skin in the game, like you're gonna want to get it done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man.
So and that's how I've gotten so many of the beginning guests I've had,
Mhm.
is by being in the group.
Exactly.
Because I mean, I've gotten some other cool people on, but like they want to like, and the knowledge too, like,
Yep.
right? So yeah, I agree with what you're saying with these groups. If so, how are you using ChatGPT to save time and make you more money?
As at this current time frame, I'm still learning ChatGPT, believe it or not. You know, it's so funny. Like I'm always this tech savvy guy up to my 30s, and after my 30s, I'm so bit focused in the business side of things. I lose track and not follow the trends on certain things. And so now I'm learning ChatGPT and learning how to use AI and stuff like that. So for the current moment, you know, it's helped me with the podcast as far as like creating talking topics,
Yeah.
scheduling, and then even the social media content. It gives me certain things to focus on doing, where like Monday we do this, Tuesday we do that, Wednesday we do this, and they would break it all down for you in like a very clear and organized things, where I don't have to hire someone to do that, which is freaking awesome, dude. Like I didn't know you can do all this stuff until like a year ago, dude. So I'm still learning it.
So it's really helped you with your podcast building
Yeah.
out, and your social and your personal
And my
brand on
personal
social
brand.
media.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite AI prompt that you think every entrepreneur should use and steal?
I don't know what my favorite one is, because I'm just like, honestly, I'm still learning it. Like I
Like, what do you
mentioned,
say to it, like when you want to get like personal, like brand content?
I would just say, hey, give me a topic discussion for next week upon for ADU cash flow or something like that. As an example, just basic stuff, dude. And it would spill out a bunch of shit on there for me, and I would just pinpoint, or I would just talk to it like a normal person, like
Yeah.
I would.
Like saying what?
I would be like, hey, let's fine tune this one and give me that more specific on what we should talk about, because
Love
sometimes
it.
it's very vague, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So you gotta tell it what you want,
yeah.
and then over time, once you do that, then it will truly give you what you want. And then a funny thing I learned is that sometimes these Chat GPT or these so-called AI are also faking things, where they they don't really know certain things, or they tell you they're creating something, but in reality they're not creating shit for you.
What do you mean?
So I had them start on this logo creation, right? And they did the job. They did the logo creation. We had to tweak it a bunch of times. And I would be like, hey, can you send that over to me in a PNG format or a vector format, whatever? Oh, yeah. What's the email? Or here's the link to download it. And I would click it multiple times. And
Not
I'll be like,
clickable?
hey, there's nothing in there. I can't download it. Oh, the service where we give me another 20 minutes. I'll be back with something, and
That's
we'll try
funny.
to. Never happened, dude.
It's still learning.
Yeah.
How do you see AI changing the real estate industry over the next 3 to 5 years? Or
It's crazy, dude. I would say that it's going to change a lot as far as how we communicate with realtors, brokerage company dealing with transaction. I think that the real estate process is really traditional and old school. I think that there's a lot of room there for improvement, and I think that AI is going to help that, dude.
paint that picture for me. Like in 5 years, like what do you, like you say, talk to real estate agents that way. Like what do you see?
Bro,
in your
agents
head?
are maybe going to be more virtual. I mean, you might not meet them in person until the day of showing, or that's it, right? Now I see people creating their own virtual personality, or what do we call it? Like a virtual person of yourself.
It's like an avatar, right?
Yeah, like an avatar.
Yeah.
And you think you're talking to that person, but it's just an AI.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. And even like talking over the phone, it could be AI. You don't even know.
So maybe like instead of Zillow employing agents, he's just gonna have like chatbots that
Pretty
you
much.
can just, it will know all the information,
Yep.
answer all the questions,
All the questions.
and so
And the
can,
agent will be
so you
just
think
meeting you on the
so
daily.
you think agent almost might be eliminated, or
not as eliminated, but it might help them be more productive, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not so all over the place. They have all this like free assistant work.
Totally. Do you see AI helping like with deal analysis, marketing, or operations the most?
Oh, for sure. Like how I'm teaching people how to do underwriting, themselves. Eventually, AI models will be able to do it for you, right? And they will tell you if it's a good deal or not. You might not have to listen to Kevin Trinh anymore.
Do you use it right now to help you with
No.
analyzing deals?
No, because my method and the way that we do underwriting for ADU deals are still too new. An AI model would not know what deal or what property would be great for an ADU deal. You still need to learn how to assess the lot too. I mean, that's other things that I didn't talk about. Right?
What do you mean assess the lot?
If you get into a deal, right, you might find something you think is great, but you got to learn how to assess the lot. You got to go to the property. You got to assess the lot. Right? Is there a electrical pole 10 feet away from your house? Right? How far is the transformer sitting from your house? If you had to trench to go all the way to get more power to your house. The beautiful part about ADU is that you can tie things into the existing infrastructure of the home, the front house. You don't have to do anything brand new. But in certain cases where you have to bring in more power, the transformer might be 100 feet down from your house. Dude, that's a far trench to dig. That's a lot of money you got to cough out. Those you need to learn how to assess.
What's your ultimate goal, both financially and personally?
So, it's funny you asked that question. I have an ultimate goal of reaching and building out my $100 million ADU portfolio. Because over time, if you hold it long enough, that $100 million ADU portfolio is going to get up to $1 billion eventually. Right? Real estate always going to go up. Doesn't matter what people say. Right? Might crash a little bit, might have a little burst of bubble. It's still going to go back up. The last 20 years, we've seen it gone up more than it's gone down. And so if I create that right there, that's going to truly, for me, I feel, secure my legacy that I leave back. Change my family trajectory, dude.
What separates the entrepreneurs who scale from those who stay stuck?
Not learning from your mistake and not understanding how to pivot correctly. Right? I fail multiple times, like I mentioned, but every single time I'll learn how to pivot and grow and get to the next level from those failures. A lot of times you get stuck because you can't get past figuring out how to get to that next level or figuring out how to, fix that problem. And sometimes joining a mentorship program helps, right? Getting new perspective. So for me, and here's another thing. A lot of people, like we were talking about, right? Like my ultimate goal is the ultimate gift. And the ultimate gift is the $100 million ADU portfolio. But to get to that ultimate gift, it requires the ultimate sacrifice. The sacrifice is what people fail to see. And most successful people don't speak about. But those little things that we were talking about, my failures, poaching employees, those are just a hint of what happens in the last 20 years of my life in business. Right? So understanding those things and if you're stuck, get into a room of people that can help you get out. You can't do it by yourself.
What's one mindset shift that took you from hustler to business owner?
So when I finally shifted my mindset from, I have to do everything myself, to now understanding that I need to be comfortable delegating certain tasks to, and still having trust even after what has happened to me, that's when I started feeling more freedom in my workplace and the environment.
Is there like a time that you remember, like looking back, that like that was the moment, or was it just accumulation?
I think it's accumulation, bro. I think that for you to change, like for some people, it takes a dramatic, something dramatic in life to change you.
Mm.
But for some people, it's just over time. Once you see enough, you're like, I'm not doing this again. It changes you. For me, it was over time.
What's your no bullshit roadmap for someone who wants $1 million in real estate in 3 years?
If you truly want to build that first $1 million portfolio, right, in the real estate investing market, you have to get on the ADU bandwagon. ADU is a new cash flow game. And to get there, you need to have money. So if you don't have a lot of money, you need to create that active income. You need to go out there, do your first fix and flip, grow that active income, and then you can go out there and do your first ADU. And over the next 3 years, you just duplicate that system. You will have $1 million plus and net worth.
And if somebody wants to get started with their first flip right now, because I think that was the hardest thing for me. Like when I was younger, it's like you read all these books about real estate investing, what a millionaire, you're gonna be an investor, but it's like, how do I actually get the money to start get my first property, right? So you talk about getting the first flip. We talked about the hard money lenders that just give you the money. So if somebody wants to like, do they need to find the deal first? They need to get the lender first. Like, how do they do that? I guess I'm asking, like, let's say I want to go and do my first flip, right? I don't have any money. I say, okay, I'm going to get the hard money lender to give me 90% of it. I got to come up with 10%. I'm going to use my buy box. I'm going to go in. I'm going to have my filters ready and set. I'm going to join a group that's going to help guide me and that I can go to. And I want to get my first deal. So is it like just going on Google, like searching up on Zillow, setting that buy box, and then going on Google, searching hard money lenders, calling around and just taking action and just doing those first steps and putting that deal together?
Oh yeah, brother. The first deal is not the perfect deal. The first deal is the most shittiest and ugliest deal you'll ever do. But that's where you learn the most, right?
There's no perfection. You're going to fail through that first deal no matter when you start. The market might be up. The market might be down. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You start buying real estate now. Don't wait, right?
Don't wait, brother. Because if you don't put yourself in
a position... Because everyone's like, the rates are high right now, and it doesn't matter. Just start.
It doesn't matter. That's all noise. In reality, they're all noise, bro. Like, for me, this is the perfect time to buy, right? Market's down, perfect time to buy. Market's up, perfect time to sell. There's always a perfect for something. So it's your perspective on things.
And there's deals in every market, right?
There's deals in every market. You just got to understand how to find it. But don't think that your first deal is going to be the winning deal. You will lose money on some. You will win on some. But your first deal, don't expect it to be perfect. Just do it.
And you're going to make a career out of it, so it's okay if the first one fails. You're going to do another one. You're going to do another one.
Yeah, you're going to learn, bro.
And you have to learn.
You're going to walk out that deal, and you're going to learn so much, and then you're going to have a whole team of people now surrounding you on the second deal where you're going to do even better.
Kevin, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, the Kevin Trinh. Facebook, Kevin Trinh. TheKevinTrinh.com. And then the ADUmastermind.com. We're working on revamping the site, so those should be live in about a few weeks. But all that's ready to go. So always welcome anyone who wants to learn more about the AD game.
Awesome. Kevin, that was powerful. I appreciate you pulling back the curtain and, sharing your journey, the wins, losses, mindset, strategy. These are the kind of conversations that move people forward. And I know this one's going to stick with our audience.
I hope so.
Thanks for tuning in to Built to Scale. If you got value from today's episode, do me a quick favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone building something great. Your support helps the show grow and makes it easier for me to bring on even bigger guests and names and incredible guests like Kevin here. So thank you. Follow me, Quinn Vincent, on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok for daily behind the scenes, insights, momentum to fuel a journey. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, and remember, legacy isn't given, it's built.